And this poem is dedicated to a day where I looked in the sky for probably about 3 hours and I saw at least like 30 chemtrail lines just being laid out. And so this poem is inspired by that day and the anger that I felt. Chemtrail-filled skies, mass media spitting out lies. There's no more denying. U.S. military planes are flying. Just contrails, they say, as they continue to spray away. Heart and weather manipulation, public water fluoridation. We're all out here dying. When will they stop the lying? At first, chemtrails didn't exist. Oh, now the planet needs this? Humans cause too much pollution, so geoengineering became their cover-up solution. But global warming was never true. Their plans would deceive me and you. They keep our focus over here as chem clouds line our atmosphere. Aluminum, barium, depleted uranium, and arsenic? It's no wonder we stay getting sick. A chemical assault, a crime against humanity? What can we do to stop this insanity? Yes, awareness is key, but the masses don't see. On their phones, they stay focused, that they don't even notice that depopulation and mind control is their ultimate goal. As chemtrails fill the sky, I refuse to stand by. I will do whatever it takes, even if my voice trembles and shakes. Fighting for true freedom and love, I work for the one above all. Exposing scumbaggery is what I came here to do. So to the globalist elitist agenda, a big fuck you. We will not take this torment. We do not consent. Our path is to enlightenment, and on this journey, there's no stopping it. Chemtrail-filled skies refuse to believe their lies. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Chemtrail guy, and I'll tell you why. Look up in the sky, white streaks flying by. Got the time lapse so I can capture the blast. Here's the proof for the confused noobs. You want a pair of puppets, it's up high in the sky. It's all water vapor, why would they lie? Little ice crystals hanging out cause it's dry. Dissipate slow so they don't realize. Living in a fog like a bump on a log. Don't you worry, spray text on the dog. Keep your mind closed, not loose on a tether. Which one you like, which proof is better? Dennis Kucinich made a mention. In-house resolution 2977. BC Weather Modification Act got repealed. Kevin Falcone didn't want to keep it real. Modification ain't in northern Alberta. Seeing clouds you never heard of. The UN in Nagoya, Japan. In 2010, they say they put it to an end. What keeps it down in the mainstream mind? Social ridicule, it makes you blind. Tinfoil hat, hop's gonna get you. It's fear-based tactics trying to affect you. Keep your head down while the chem rains down. Speak your mind, you can expect frowns. The strain from planes, it's getting in your veins. Particulate, we're antennae widgets. Transhumanistic, bioelectric physics.
I need some sunshine. Oh, I need some sunshine.
Clifford Kernigami's got it going on. Scientific research down to earth. Stop the paralysis, deductive analysis. Test tubes and microbes, information explodes. Fibers and samples, dying plants and animals. Biotechno robot, nano cannibals. Electro controllers, symbio parasites. Remote control robot, UAV flies. Implant the chips, pollinating our brains with an information drip that's so sick. It's way up in the sky. Why bother question? Breathe it in some more. You'll learn some lessons, bad for your health. The whole world knows, simply not question. We do what we're told. If the elites want to kill us all, they be killing themselves. Having a ball, they will but they won't. They got an antidote. Living underground, technologies to cope. How you like that? What you want? Looking back now, some things he could have done. Diet mending, bioelectric cleansing. Living your life, tracking and trending. It's the information and complete control grid. It's what it's about, it's the way we live. Trying to have a rational conversation. All I end up with is mind manipulation. When we're living in a futuristic nation of tracking and tracing and techno celebration. Take a thought for a minute as we take it to the limit. A testament to the human spirit. Is it inherent? Is it to be timid? Or to ask questions, reach wisdom, discernment?
I need
which shows you can make very high quality aluminum in just a jet in a very simple way, make high quality aluminum particles just by spraying aluminum vapor out, which oxidizes. So it's certainly in principle possible to do that, and there's a big literature that's already looked at that. And you could do that by either building new versions of these aircraft or even re-engineering existing aircraft. So there's some ideas of that. So you go to an engineering firm and you want this done. They don't say this is hard or unusual. They say, okay, yes, we could do it. Aerosol geoengineering looks like it is so cheap that the cost is basically not going to be an issue. That means that implementation decisions will be risk-to-risk decisions. The risk of doing it against the risk of not doing it. And it makes the problem of how we govern it fundamentally harder and different and novel. So I've told you that it's cheap to deliver materials to the stratosphere, and I'm convinced that's true. I don't think that will change. But I think the more we do research, the less easy this will look, the more complicated the environmental effects will look, and that's a good thing, because right now it looks too easy. So I think that if we do more research, we're likely to find out that it's harder and more complicated than we thought, and the side effects are harder to manage, and that's a healthy outcome that will make it easier to do the management. Of course, the opposite reaction is possible. It's an empirical question how people will actually react to knowledge about this. Another reaction is to say, if these crazy scientists are so concerned about putting CO2 in the atmosphere, they want to think about these things, then that might actually mean we should be more serious about the risks of CO2 in the atmosphere. And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like free riding on our grandkids. And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like free riding on our grandkids.
Numerous air quality studies, including from CARB, California Air Quality Resource Board, have named submicron-sized particulates as being particularly harmful for human respiration. Through all the discussions today, I have not heard any mention of this fallout, and has this been studied, and also the effects of a highly reactive metal like aluminum on toxifying soils and waters?
The question is, what would be the effects of these materials on human health if they came down into the stratosphere, in particular small particles in aluminum?
So the collaborators of mine working on the aerosol scheme are actually folks from Carnegie Mellon who focused on human health impacts. And while we haven't published it, that was the very first thing we did, was do the order of magnitude calculation in level pencil and paper, but with an expert on human health impacts about whether there could be an issue. And for aluminum or other particles, there are a lot of toxicological things that need to get looked at seriously. But if you're just thinking about the sheer number of particles and the human health impact of small particles, the answer is, while we haven't published it, that was the first thing we looked at with some of the leading experts who do epidemiological research on human health impacts, and it's not even close to being an issue.
Just to clarify, so 10 megatons of aluminum dumped into the atmosphere would have no human health impact?
So let me be more careful here. We're to separate out the toxicological. So the alumina, we've only begun to research and published nothing. Alumina, we've only begun to research and published nothing. We haven't done anything serious on alumina, and so there could be something terrible that we'll find tomorrow. We haven't looked at it. We haven't done anything serious on alumina, and so there could be something terrible that we'll find tomorrow. We haven't looked at it.
I think the question is, how do you draw the line between some activity that is allowed and doesn't need global governance and activities that do require global governance?
Dr. John Holdren has agreed to serve as Assistant to the President for Science and Technology and Director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. I look forward to his wise counsel in the years ahead.
My personal opinion is that we have to keep geoengineering on the table. We have to look at it very carefully because we might get desperate enough to want to use it.